What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at the Marvel Legends Spiderman Retro Wave Hobgoblin and Spider Armor Mark 1. I've had these guys in my possession for about 2 weeks now. I think today's the day to finally give them the review. We're going to start off with Hobgoblin here. So we're going to move Armour Spider to the side. And yeah, let's take a quick look at the packaging here before we get into it. Very happy to have Hobgoblin in my collection. He is a character that's been desperately missing for a while now, for me anyways. But there's the back of the box there if you guys want to read. I am gonna skip through the opening process and I'll see you guys back in 2 seconds. Alright guys, here is the Hobgoblin out of the packaging. And first thing I'm noticing is he is very stiff and he is very hard to stand. He does not want to stand. I think it's his cape. I think it's a little too top heavy. I can have him like leaning forward a bit, I guess, but it just kind of looks weird. He looks alright, but let's look at the accessories first before we get into him. So he does come with his trusty glider. I believe it's different than the Hobgoblin one, or the Green Goblin one. Yes, it is. So here's the Green Goblin one on the left, and the purple one is for the Hobgoblin. They do look different, so that's cool. At least they're not the same. Nice to see. Let's see. Apparently, he does not stand too good on this, or he cannot peg himself into this glider that good because I don't know if you guys noticed, but they didn't give him those pointy shoes like they did with the Green Goblin. I'll bring Green Goblin in to show you guys. See how he has those points at the top of his shoes? They kind of actually keep him staying inside of his glider, whereas this one is just like, actually he's staying on it right now. Not too bad, but if you want to have him actually like crouched posed on his glider, it might be difficult. Might have to use some sticky tack or some tape or something, but so that's kind of a bummer. But if we have him just like that, standing on it, maybe it looks cool. I'll have to figure it out later whenever I display him, but not bad. It comes with the glider, so that's cool. Then we got his little pouch purse thing, his bag where he, I'm assuming, keeps his pumpkin bombs and stuff. So that's cool. We saw this with the Green Goblin as well. I think it's just painted differently. So now we have it in purple, so that's cool. And the last accessory we have is the pumpkin bomb itself. It's painted pretty good, actually. It's nice and translucent. The green on the top looks pretty cool. You can kind of see the pumpkin's face on there a little bit. The camera won't really focus on it, but yeah, it looks good. You know, it's always good to have a pumpkin bomb with your goblin figure. So there's all the accessories there. It only comes with 3. It's not bad, but anyways, let's go back to the figure and take a closer look at the Hobgoblin. So yeah, like how I was saying before, he is having a little trouble standing. You can tell he is standing now, but it does not take much for him just to topple over. He is reusing a lot of old Marvel Legend parts. Like I'm pretty sure this is the Bucky mold, or the Bucky Cap mold, is it not? But anyways, it's not the worst thing in the world. I feel like he is just too colorful, maybe. They could have maybe washed him a bit with something, but they haven't really done that for any of the comic animated style figures, so I don't know. I think he looks okay. The face looks great. Honestly, the face is probably one of the best parts about this figure. I wouldn't have minded another alternate head, maybe with his mouth open, laughing or something. I mean, he is smiling here, so it's not bad. The cape looks pretty cool. It's got some rips in it. I didn't pick up the figure from the Doctor Strange wave, but I'm assuming he had the exact same cape as this. I forget what figure that was, but yeah, let's go over his articulation. Like I said earlier, is very, very stiff in the arms. Like, it takes so much just to open that arm. This one, you might have to heat this up. It is a scary moment when you're trying to articulate a figure that's very stiff on screen for the first time. So we're going to leave that arm alone until I warm it up a bit. yeah, honestly, the figure isn't great paint-wise, and even like parts-wise. I think they could have really just, especially for what the arms are, they could have gave us that like armor style to it, kind of like the Goblin has. As you can see here, he has like that texture. I forget what they call that. Like, it's not like chainmail, but something like that, like mesh or something. But they didn't add it to this one, unfortunately, so that's kind of weak. Yeah, honestly, it's one of those figures that looks way better in the package on your wall next to all the other ones. Unfortunately, I only have the one, so if I do see another one out in the wild, I might buy it and keep it in box. But honestly, it's a okay figure. He is a big part of my collection that was missing, so I'm happy to at least have him. I have a stand. I'm gonna try to balance him on with that with this glider. So hopefully that works out. I have a feeling it's not, judging by all these pictures I've seen online of people trying to play with them and pose them and stuff. So we'll see how that works out. Yeah, he looks okay. Decent figure. But I think it's time to move on to the Spider-Man Armor Mark 1. So here is the Spider-Man Armor Mark 1. And when this figure was announced, I was so excited. I used to have a figure like this when I was a kid. It was like a little die-cast metal version, and I used to love it. I don't know what it was. Seeing Spider-Man in black and silver was just cool for the time. You do see him in the episode, I think, in the animated series, the multiverse and all that, with all the Spider-Man. So he is in that episode as well. There is the back of the packaging. If you wanted to read, you can go ahead and pause that. It really sucks opening these figures, but this one I actually did get 2 of, so I am keeping one in box and opening one. But some things about this figure I'm not a huge fan of, but we'll get into it in a sec. Let's crack them open and let's get into them. Alright guys, here is the Armour Spider-Man out of the packaging, and he looks very shiny, and I'm loving that he can stand, unlike our last figure there. Looking really good, nice paint apps it looks like, but we're going to move him off to the side first. Let's check out what he comes with. He does come with 2 interchangeable swinging hands, I guess you can say, thwipping hands, is that what they call them? So they're actually painted very good. Silver on there looks nice. Even the texture on like the glove, there's like a pattern, like it's all over the suit as well. You'll see when we bring them in, but looks good, man. I'm digging the paint apps on this figure. So he does come with those 2 hands, and he does come with some web accessories. Nice, man. Like, how they haven't just included these with every Spider-Man figure baffles me, man. Like, I know sometimes they gotta cut costs and not pack a figure with so much stuff just to save money, but like, this stuff can't really cost that much to make, man. Like, look at that. Like, I don't know. I think this is just, I'm going crazy because this is like my first time having this accessory. I just feel like it works good for, like, if you wanted to just, I don't know, web some guy up in his face or his hands or something, because you see Spider-Man do that all the time. So it's nice to finally have some web accessories. They look legit. They look nice. More of these, please, Hasbro. I'm all down with the webs. You can even put them around like your dioramas and stuff, and just put them in the background, you know, it looks cool, right? But anyways, those are the accessories. Let's bring Spider-Man back into the frame here and take a closer look. Okay, so here is the Armored Spider-Man up close and personal. I am noticing one defect. Oh, I just fell off. It was just some extra paint chilling there on his arm. It just literally just fell off. There it is. But man, he's pretty cool. I'm liking it. I'm liking this figure. But there was one problem. One problem with this figure. Obviously, it wasn't a huge problem for me not to get 2 of them. But first, you know what? Let's go over his articulation before I get into that. Articulation, I like how he clicks every time you move a joint, man. I don't know what that is. That makes the figure so much more funner to just sit around and play with. Another thing I'm noticing off the bat is he has pinless joints, my friends. No pins in the joints. No pins in the legs either. So that's very cool. He feels awesome. Like, the texture of this guy. The shine to him. Great figure, man. double jointed knees. He's got those double jointed elbows. So that's also very nice to see. Head moves very good. He's got that beautiful ab crunch there. He's got the swivel at the waist. Just articulation's great on this figure. I don't know if if all this stuff coming off of him is just dry paint. It might be, but yeah. But let's get into the thing I don't like about this figure, and it's not a huge complaint. It is a little minor kind of complaint. Is I feel like this Spider-Man, this version of Spider-Man, is supposed to be way more jacked, way more bigger, or the suit's supposed to be bigger or something. When I had that older toy that I was talking about, I'll try and find it and put a picture right up here in the corner. An old Toy Biz, probably Spider-Man figure it was. He was way more jacked than this, so I don't know. I heard this is based off like a video game skin or something for the Spider-Man game, so I guess it was easier for them to do it that way. But then why not just put this figure in like the Gaming Greats line, right, and do another Spider-Man? But they ended up just putting it in the Retro line, even though it doesn't really look like how he did in that Retro animated series. I mean, the costume is on point. It's just the build of the figure, right? Like, you see that picture, if I put it up here, he's supposed to be way more jacked. Even on the, bring back the box art here, the shoulder pads, like right there, they kind of look like they're beefed out more, right? Like, I don't know, he just looks more bigger in that photo there. It's not a game breaker for me. The figure still is awesome, so I'm very happy to have it. But yeah, so that's my one gripe about this figure, is the fact that he's not bigger and he's not jacked enough. But other than that, great figure. Awesome articulation, paint, everything. There's like no paint defects. I'm not seeing any silver on like any black. There's some black here on the elbow part, just bleeding into the silver. It's not too bad. There's some black going up here. That might be from just articulating him too. You might get that. I'm liking the spider symbol on the back, man. That's really nice and shiny. That looks really cool. Awesome looking figure. Let's compare him to another Spider-Man and some other villains here. All right, here he is standing next to some goblins, and I can't believe I got the Hobgoblin to stand, but his legs look really weird. I have to like swivel that upper thigh part and make it aim to like the left or the right, but you can tell it does the trick. But yeah, I don't know, man. That Hobgoblin figure I think could have been way better. But Spider-Man looks good in the middle there next to these two. He's going to look great on the shelf next to all the other ones. Let's bring in another Spider-Man to compare him with. I got my Retro Spider-Man over here with the Pizza Spidey head. And they look pretty good side by side. Even this Spider-Man looks a little more jacked than this one, so I don't know. Could they have maybe put the silver over top of this mold? Probably not. Probably would have been a lot of work, but it still looks good, man. I'm happy to have these two Spideys. So the older version I had a toy of this one. It was a Toy Biz one about 5 inches big, and then there also was a die-cast one I used to have. And both of those, even the die-cast one, showed like his buffness. So the fact that they did that back then and they skipped it on it for this one, I don't know why I'm still talking about it. It's not that big of a deal, but they look good side by side. Let's bring in like the Shocker over here, another figure from this wave. Looks good beside him, man. They look really good. More Spider-Man villains, the better, man. I'll take them all, especially the ones that are from the animated series. So they look good. Let's close off the video here, the review, the last two figures, or with the two figures we reviewed here. Definitely the Armored Spider, I would say, is the better figure. I mean, if you see him in your stores and you're tempted to pick him up, maybe you're waiting for that clearance deal. I don't know if he'll be around, man. I could see people scooping this Spider-Man up, especially now that people are starting to get him and see him in stores and they're doing reviews on them and stuff. I think people are going to really be like, wow, this figure is pretty, sick. So if you see him, pick him up. The Hobgoblin, another one, I don't know. If you have the older version, maybe don't get this one, because the older version looks to be a little better in the paint department, and I think that older version might even have the the pointy shoes. I'm not sure. I don't have it. So it might be easier for him to be on his glider than this one. Then again, he looks pretty cool in the packaging, but out of the box, not so great. But he is going to go in my collection. He is going to go on a flight stand beside his father there. So yeah, thanks guys for watching this review. We're going to have another wrestling figure review coming up this week. I am going to dabble a little bit with the Marvel Legends here and there on the channel, but I think we're going to primarily focus on wrestling stuff here going forward. So if you guys liked the video, hit the like, subscribe, leave a comment, share. We got more videos coming. I appreciate everybody. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.